Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. It's so great to be back with you. This is my first video from my new location and wow, what a journey it's been. Happy to be here after that brutal cross-country move in the middle of Mercury retrograde. Anyway, I wanted to take this opportunity to do a reading called Where Does Your Soul Long to Be? And I picked up this really cool oracle called the Time Traveler's Oracle at the Edgar Cayce Center, and I really love it. And so everybody will get a specific place that your soul longs to be, depending on what pile you choose. So take a deep breath, clear your energy, and focus in on the piles below. For pile number 1, we have luck is on your side, okay? And it says new moon in Sagittarius. If you're feeling pile number 1, you'll choose this pile for luck is on your side. For pile number 2, we have meditate and contemplate. And it represents the new moon in Pisces. If you're feeling that, you will choose pile number 2. And for pile number 3, we have a new start is coming, okay? If you're feeling the energy of pile number 3 and a new start coming, you will choose pile number 3 and the new moon, okay? So those are the 3 piles, and you may choose based on the colors you see, or maybe some of you have Sagittarius or Pisces in your chart. Even if you don't, it doesn't matter. You're going to go with what you feel really is pulling you in. So let's go ahead, and there'll be timestamps in the description box below. And at the end, or at the beginning of each pile, we'll find out what place is really calling your soul right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to ring my bell. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose luck is on your side in the new moon in Sagittarius. And the question of the day is, where does your soul long to be? And this reading is going to feature a particular place from the Time Traveler's Oracle. And we are going to find out why that is, why your soul longs to be in that particular place. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin the reading here for pile number 1. Spirits, angels, and guides, please connect me with the energy for pile number 1, who comes here with an open heart and an open mind. Thank you so much. Where does pile number 1's soul long to be? Where does pile number 1's soul long to be, and why? And why? Okay. So those are your tarot cards. On the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Swords. Ooh, I love the open mind aspect of the Ace of Swords. Okay. And let's see here. We have freedom. And you know what? Your guys' card is 1963 and Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And I'm going to read a little bit more about this, but you see a man standing on a mountain looking out over everything and like looking at a vast landscape. And, you know, your soul has a dream, and that dream has to do with freedom, and it also has to do with speaking your mind. And I love that this card is after Martin Luther King's famous speech, I Have a Dream, and particularly with the Ace of Swords talking about speech, etc. And I'm going to read a little bit from your guys' card, but before I do that, we have self-love, creation, and intentions. Okay, and we have trusting in divine timing. The more I love myself, the more I'm free to be myself, the more I trust in myself, the more freedom and the more expansive life becomes for me. We have lack and doubts, okay? And this is where in the past, perhaps pile number 1, feeling like, you know. And I'm also getting something maybe where there were people in your life, maybe even a significant other, or people in your life who sometimes had a very pessimistic or negative frame of mind. And I feel like some of you here are wanting to be free from that very dark, negative, pessimistic frame of mind that, you know, that existed in the past, you know? And I feel like you guys are people that you tell others, hey, believe in yourself, trust in yourself, everything's going to be okay. And then there's just been some people in your life who've dealt with a lot of, you know, depression and pessimism and things like that. And I think it has impacted you in some ways, but I also feel like you're gaining freedom from that. And for some of you, the men in your family may have experienced a lot of depression, or there was a lot of doubts and lack, particularly on the paternal side of your family, or, you know, brothers or siblings or things like that, but on the more masculine end of things. And let's see, we have here the mirror, reflect. I hold the mirror up to see, accept, and love all of me. Yeah. And I love that energy. It's very glamorous too. I see this very beautiful and glamorous aspect to that. And we have here zebra, open-mindedness. Oh my God, that was so funny. I talked about with the Ace of Swords, you know, and the whole thing about Martin Luther's I Have a Dream speech is like one day everyone's going to be equal and it's not going to matter anymore, like the color of one's skin. And, you know, I feel like you guys are very open-minded when it comes to love, when it comes to yourself, when it comes to trying new things artistically, creatively, etc. And I feel like maybe there's just been people around you that haven't really trusted so much. And we have here, it says, there is more than one way to look at things. You must be ready to accept alternative viewpoints and new ideas. You must open your eyes to new ideas and ways of resolving problems. And that is, you know, very Ace of Swords. Besides, zebra energy is highly creative and not afraid to be different. Okay, and we have here, and I feel like you guys love creating things. You love creativity. And if there's been times in the past where you've doubted yourself creatively, you've doubted your art, you've doubted if you would be able to make money off of it, you've doubted in things, I feel like no more, okay? And we have here, you are in control. It says it 4 times. You're in control, you are in control, you are in control, you are in control, right? And that's coming out under this trusting in divine time, okay? And maybe sometimes, you know, it's been hard, but to stay open-minded because you do like control. And I'm also getting something about control freaks in your life, or perhaps times in your life when you feel like maybe you were being a bit of a control freak about things, okay? But just because you're being open-minded and accepting new ideas doesn't mean you're letting go. You're totally out of control, you know? We have Moon, Uranus. Wow, freedom. You know, Uranus is such a planet of freedom, and like how you see yourself and how you reflect on your journey in life and how far you've come and how you've changed your emotions, right? Because it's like I used to have a lot of doubts about, you know, timing and self-love and creating things and art and beauty and the things that I really like. Beauty is only skin deep, or beauty is only looking a certain way, or art is only looking a certain way, and then feeling heavy and having doubts or feeling cloudy because of that. I feel like, wow, that emotion, those emotions that have been trapped are being released, you know. And the Moon Uranus is about a powerful release of emotions, okay? And the Moon Uranus is also about emotional freedom. and emotional freedom from lack and doubts, okay? And maybe some of you are freeing yourself emotionally from a particular person who is always very negative towards you, okay? We have dreams. Wow. And again, it's the I have a dream speech. And your soul longs to be in your dreams and, you know, experiencing freedom and creation and open-mindedness and no blocks to anything, okay? Dreams, okay? Your soul longs to explore your dreams, even at night while you're sleeping. And you guys picked the new moon in Sagittarius, and that is, you know, about exploration, exploring new frontiers, okay? And we have here conscious connections. Yeah, and this is about, you know, emotional freedom and conscious connections, okay, that you make with other people, and emotional freedom from doubt and lack and people that made you feel less than in the past, okay? We have scorpionic energy, deep conscious connections, okay? And deep sexual conscious connections is what I also feel here too, because your soul wants to be in control and trust in divine timing and experience really, really deep connection, but you're also looking for, I feel, emotional freedom, okay? And maybe some of you, I feel some of you could have had with dreams, Scorpio, and conscious connections, I feel some of you could have had a very sexual dream about somebody, and you're like, oh my God, it was so powerful, Natalie. It was so powerful. And my soul longs to go back to that dream because it was, you know, so hot and intense. But I also feel like you guys are really focused on making conscious connections, okay? And I want to take a little look at this I Have a Dream speech for card 16 here. And it says, we are in Washington, D.C. on the day of historical importance. It is August 28th, 1963, and we're standing in the crowd of 250,000 people. Wow, speaking truth. We have a good view of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the famed Baptist minister and civil rights activist. He is beginning his I Have a Dream speech, and the crowd is mesmerized. We feel honored to witness a defining moment in American civil rights. King begins his speech with a reference to Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, which declared freedom for millions of slaves. Oh my God, I just got chills, you guys. He then said, 100 years ago, the life of the Negro is still crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. Tears spring to my eyes as he describes his dream of equality and solidarity for all within the nation. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. Oh my God, you guys, I'm getting so emotional. Wow. And emotional release, right? Moon Uranus, like a surprising rush of emotions. And he said his most quoted line is, I have a dream that my 4 little children, wow, the moon, right? I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. We both leave feeling inspired and uplifted, his final words ringing in our ears. Free at last, free at last. Oh, I can't even say it, you guys. Gosh, I'm getting so emotional. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last, you know? And, you know, appreciating differences and diversity in people, powerful conscious connections, deep trust that things are going to be okay, okay? And it says, you are being called to step beyond limitations and self-imposed boundaries. Do not allow yourself to be trapped by the convention or the expectations of others. Break free from anyone or anything that imprisons or restricts you. Support others in their journey to freedom. Fling your arms to the heavens. What fetters your mind, body, and soul? If you have a relationship, a career, or lifestyle that constricts you, it's time to consider some changes. Yeah, sometimes we need to make changes to feel more comfortable and more free and expansive. And sometimes it can be like a toss-up between our comfort and security versus our need to make changes, and we need to trust ourselves in those moments and trust that we're in control, and that we're powerful, scorpionic energy, that we're powerful and we're in control in those moments of change, okay? You can't always choose your life circumstances, but you can choose your response to them. Select meanings to events that empower you. You can choose to feel unrestrained and free no matter what is happening. You can decide to experience freedom, even in limiting situations. And so, yeah, your soul longs for freedom and your wildest dreams, all right? And interesting, pile number 1, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. We've got the Star card. Ooh, that's so Aquarian. And I forget, was Martin Luther King an Aquarius? I kept wanting to mention something about Aquarius in this reading. So the Star card, and again, she is natural. She is naked. She is free. She is beautiful. Okay. And, yeah. And how to make ourselves feel stable and secure when we are feeling very vulnerable and exposed, and and there's a big difference between like feeling like bored or routine, or this is the same thing every day. Like we want to feel like there's a place in our life where we can truly be ourselves, right? Because I'm also saying something about the U.S. Post Office, or somebody delivering mail, or somebody having a routine that is like where you do the same thing for work every day, or you dress the same way for work every day. Okay, or maybe some of you had a package or something. I feel like somebody shows up unexpectedly with a package and you're like naked and you're like, oh crap. But I also feel like the Star card is about having healthy rituals for yourself, like, bathing, walking around naked, feeling comfortable in your own skin, not, looking at the body as something that you have to continually, that's something that's a burden, having a body, and it sucks having a body and all that, but instead really appreciating the senses and the rituals that come from, taking care of your body. And, I love how her foot is in the well of water there, and is in like, and to me that talks about having one foot on the ground and one foot in our dreams, okay? Maybe some of you long to escape the drudgery and all of that of the day, and get home and take a bath or take a hot shower, or you've got your little rituals that you love to do to relax. And maybe some of you look forward to dream time every night, because I feel like the nighttime is when you can really be yourself. Pile number 1, okay? I feel like the nighttime is really when like the deeper aspects of you come out, and that's when you really want to feel like you don't want to wear tight and restricting clothing. You probably don't want to wear any clothing at all, you know what I mean? You probably just want to be wild and free, and that's and go to the beat of your own drum instead of conform to what society wants you to be all the time. You want to be wild and free, okay? And raw, right? With the scorpionic energy, raw, sexual, wild, and free. But also making conscious connections, okay? And we have the 10 of Pentacles, safety, security, structure, and we have the 10 of Swords, okay? Sometimes being a part of something can be kind of stressful. As much as we appreciate, friends or family or the things in our life that make us feel surrounded, by love, or surrounded by security or safety, sometimes And I feel, do you guys ever feel bad because sometimes you just need to escape and be by yourselves? I mean, I think you do love, you know, spending time, togetherness, like you do put a big value on that. But I also feel like you guys are, like, you work really hard, Knight of Pentacles, and you are very dutiful and you work super hard. So you need to have ways to, healthy ways, healthy rituals and healthy ways to unwind and relax. And as much as you like being around other people or being around family, or, you know, sometimes we need some time to ourselves. You know, we can't always be with other people all the time. Like sometimes, and I feel like sometimes the time you give your best self to, you know, your family, your friends, your commitments, I feel like you guys really give your best self to that. But I also feel like when it comes to your own time, maybe you're not having like thoughtful rituals where you can really your hobbies and your interests and things like that are important too. And thoughtful ritual is very important for you guys, instead of just like spacing off or watching TV shows. Or, you know, also the Ten of Swords is about like astral travel and leaving your body. So, I mean, I feel like you guys are kind of like escaping in dream world as well, because there is a lot of commitments and responsibilities with the Ten of Pentacles. But it's like, okay, I need to go somewhere where I can escape from all of that. Okay. And I get that too. Okay. And so pile number 1, that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that that reading resonated for you, my lovelies. And I was even getting something about somebody liking cleaning. Like using, because I saw the woman cleaning here, like some people escape through like doing stuff and cleaning, okay, which is kind of funny, okay, but they get a moment to themselves where they don't have to be engaged with everyone else. Like they have people around them, but they don't have to be talking to everyone, you know. And I feel like some of you maybe need a break from that whole like interacting a little bit. Okay, it's like you want to be around people, but you need some time, I also feel, okay? Pile number 1. So that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that that reading resonated, and I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback. Let's move on to pile number 2. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose Meditate and Contemplate, New Moon in Pisces. And today's reading is called Where Does Your Soul Long to Be? Pile number 2. I'm excited. And you guys are going to get a particular place that your soul longs to be. Also, I am using a really, really old deck. Okay, I've had this deck I think almost for 20 years, okay? And I brought it out the other day. It's kind of getting faded and things like that, but I've had this deck for a long time, and I'm like, oh, pile number 2, you're getting this deck. So let's go and see where your soul longs to be. We have, we've got pile number 2. You guys got the Oracle at Delphi in Greece. Oh my gosh, how freaking amazing is that? Okay, so your soul longs to be or to return to Greece. And this is the Oracle of Delphi, and it says communication. Wow, pile number 2, how exciting. We have Pluto in transformation. We have freedom, leap, and opportunities. That's Pluto and Uranus energy there. We've got the Ace of Water, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Oh my God. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, that's extremely spiritual. Pile number 2. All right, that's very emotional as well. And we have lots of emotional changes and little mini earthquakes happening here. We've got the Temple I no longer search outside of myself for home. And you know what's so crazy about the temple is there's an actual temple here on this Oracle of Delphi card. And some of you here have been, I feel like some of you here have past lives in temples, or you have past lives serving in temples or serving the goddess in temples, okay? Or you were a permanent fixture in a temple, because I see you wandering around the hallways of a temple. And some of you may have some really fancy temples that your soul longs to return to, that you were a part of. And for my witches who've chosen this pile, for my intuitives, my witches, my empaths, my spiritualists, welcome to your reading. I mean, holy cow, right? And some of the energies with Pluto that we play with are deep and intense and hardcore, and change, like really change that really rocks you to the core, but that you embrace with open arms because you feel at peace within yourself, okay? And I do feel some of you here, because she looks a little bored, okay? And some of you could have been feeling a little bored, or you've been feeling a little repressed, or you've been feeling like there's all these hidden things, these unusual things, these hidden things, these things that touch your heart in a major way. Also, I feel some of you here, like when you watch movies or when you read books, I feel you guys really get into them. Like you really get transported into the movie or into the book, and you get really like emotionally involved in it. And you really like catch on to the feeling of something really intensely. I feel pile number 2. And this is like, we're going into kind of past life stuff here. Okay. And, it's interesting because in modern day life, I feel some of you here, like in a past life, you did things that had to do with conversions or high level spiritual experiences, or conversions, like conversions of faith and moments of intense change when it comes to matters of the heart, faith, and spirituality. And some of you may have been there during really intense awakenings, really intense, spiritual processes, really intense, maybe even exorcisms. I feel like for some of you here, like really intense things in temples that you were witness to or that you were a part of. And temples these days obviously are not as intense as they were then. And life isn't as intense as I feel it was for you perhaps in a past life. And for some of you, it may leave you feeling a little bored in some ways, because I feel like your soul is a renegade. And so you're used to high level, intense experiences that are extremely emotionally transformative. And when you're not in that zone, I feel like you might even be a little bit bored, because maybe there is a part of you that actually thrives in that deep, chaotic space. Oh yeah, we've got the dragon and passion. Absolutely. And your soul longs to be with your dragon and be with your dragons. The dragon is a reminder of your strong will and fiery personality. It is also a symbol of passion and fire. You're being asked to practice self-control and be cautious so that your passion does not lead you into trouble. But I also feel that your soul longs to be passionate and get into fucking trouble, pile number 2, because you are a rebel, my friends. But you also have this very, there's something about this lifetime where you're trying to, with this water energy here, where you're trying to focus on peace and calming yourself down, But there is a part of you that is a dragon and wants to roar like a lion, pile number 2, okay? That has deep passion and deep freedom and deep feelings, okay? And wants to fuck shit up sometimes, pile number 2. So, wow. We've got don't let any motherfucker disturb your peace. And, you know, that is something that you are working on. You're working on having peak experiences and having, you know, huge, deeply transformative experiences without letting other people mess you up too bad, you know, Erin, because I feel like you are very passionate and you do have this strong, fiery will. And, you know, there is this side of you, I feel like, that can get into drama because your soul is really used to intensity. But I also feel like in this lifetime, you're trying to calm down a little bit more, okay? And be more emotionally aware of your feelings instead of just going into the intensity. Okay? And yeah, we have Sun Chiron here. And, you know, this is talking about working through a feeling of having to always prove yourself, okay? And having to always, you know, make really, really big moves in order to prove yourself to other people, okay? And this could be where other people have been in the past, you know, very damaging towards your ego and very like, you know, and it's like, don't let any motherfucker disturb your peace, okay? If somebody comes to try to burst your bubble or anything like that, I feel like you're going to stay peaceful and in control of yourself and not let yourself go too far, okay? And I feel like you have the key to healing yourself in this lifetime. And it has to do with your solar energy. And for some of you, it has to do with your relationship with your father, or the relationship with men in your life, okay? And, you know, and how that has affected you emotionally, okay? I am seeing that here. And, you know, you're a very passionate person. You're also a very hard person to control. I feel pile number 2, and I feel sometimes people have deliberately maybe tried to damage your self-esteem in order to emotionally manipulate you, okay? And so this is where you're getting really in touch with your internal feelings on things to understand and communicate with the higher version of yourself to really become aware of these patterns, okay? If people are purposely trying to trigger you or purposely trying to arouse a reaction in you, you are working on staying within yourself, okay? We have home here, and again, this is a reference to home twice. We have home on this temple card, and we have home on this card here. So I feel you guys, having a home, there is a home that your soul longs to return to that feels very peaceful, safe, and comfortable. And I feel like this is something that you've been yearning for your whole life. Some of you, I feel like, have been wanting to return back to that home or back to that place that felt so comfortable and warm and inviting. And, you know, in this lifetime, your concept of home and where you live and how you set your home up and how you make it feel cozy and safe and comfortable for yourself is a big deal in this lifetime, okay? But part of your soul will always remember that aspect of living in a temple and dealing with these powerful energies, and there always will be a part of yourself that craves that, I feel, pile number 2, but at the same time, in this lifetime, I feel you're looking for more peace and comfort is what I feel. Okay, softer energy. Yeah, and we have heaven sent right here. card 33. Okay, really connecting empathically, intuitively with, and I feel like there is going to be a beautiful home that you're going to live in that's going to feel really cozy and really safe. And you're going to be like, this is what I wanted. This is what I dreamed of. This is what I was trying to manifest. And don't let anybody destroy or disturb your peace in your own home. You know, that is very important to you, that you keep those lines of communication with spirit clean and clear. And it's hard to do if you're around people in your home that are messing with your peace, you know? We have the 6th house and routine. Yeah, you were so used to, your soul is so used to communicating and connecting with higher forces. And some of you may need to like work on your routine and work on your health and work on your physical health and your emotional health, okay? But I see a lot of mental clarity around your day-to-day living, especially when it comes to your home, which needs to be functional for your physical, mental, and emotional health, okay? That's so key in this lifetime. You know, and some of you here are healers, doctors, intuitive, massage, Reiki, lots of different stuff here, okay, with the 6th house, Sun, and Chiron, for sure. Some of you here may be medical intuitives, okay? Some of you here may be really good at dealing with poltergeists or dealing with, you know, haunted places. Some of you here are very good at sensing where people's pain and where their physical pain is and emotional pain, okay? And I feel some of you, like you've had many, many lifetimes. And, you know, keep in mind temples back in the day were places where people would go to seek healing, not just, you know, spiritual or spiritual healing, but also physical healing. Some of you could have been doctors in a past life, powerful healers in a past life, or assisted people in temples in a past life in some type of a healing capacity, dealing with some very intense situations, okay? And, you know, where people were in a lot of physical and emotional pain, and you stepped in to help in those situations. You know, and, you know, some of you could have been like midwives and things like that in a past life, okay? Very much, you know, like, and you need your home to feel like your castle. You need your home to feel like it's physically meeting your needs as well, okay? And some of you have some really heaven-sent gifts when it comes to healing other people, and you're very at home with it, and you're very in touch with those abilities in this lifetime too. But don't get me wrong, some of you miss the intensity of that temple like you wouldn't believe. Pile number 2, okay? Like you wouldn't believe, my friends. So let's go ahead and get some oracle or some tarot messages here about where your soul longs to go and be and why. Show us why pile number 2's soul longs to be at the oracle with the Oracle of Delphi in Greece. Show us why. Show us why pile number 2's soul longs to be there. Okay, pile number 2. We've got the 5 of Pentacles. Life can be so boring and sucky, and I actually feel you guys are, some of you had a lot of abundance at the temple as well, because she's dressed very nicely and she looks like you're like, man, I miss the riches of that lifetime. You know, some of you had some boss ass positions, I feel like, in some temples, and your material needs were very taken care of as well. And some of you may have more of like a modest home in this lifetime and you're like, yeah, I like my home. It's really cozy and comfortable. But man, I miss the grandeur of those temples and and the marble and the like luxury of it, and the comfort of it and like the benefits of it, right? And when you're used to being in temples and jewels and shit like that, and then you just get into a lifetime and it's like, oh, it's the same clothes I'm wearing every day and it's the same whatever. And, I don't live in and some of you could have actually been, in this lifetime could have been like rejected by a church or kicked out of a church or made to feel like you didn't belong at a church or something. And it's a fucking travesty because I feel like you guys you were really, really high up in a particular temple or you were highly respected. And it's like, it's kind of bullshit, in a way. So file number 2, that's interesting. We have the Queen of Cups. Oh yeah, healer, Queen Mother Healer. We've got the Chariot. Oh yeah, take me away. Calgon, take me away, as they used to say in the Star card, right? And it's so funny because pile number 1 had the Star card too. Take me away, right? To a beautiful place where I can heal and I can look at the beautiful fountains of water, right? There's water everywhere. And some of you maybe miss living around the water. You're like, oh man, I miss looking at the little, pools of fish swimming at the temple. And I miss, some of you I feel here were water diviners, okay? And there is such a thing as, scrying with water. Okay. Some people would look into water in order to get intuitive messages. And I feel some of you here were definitely like water diviners and really gorgeous, beautiful water diviners. And man, if you were a water diviner living close to the ocean in a temple, to go from that to like living in Cincinnati, it's like, what the hell? I'm just giving you guys an example, but it's like, what the hell kind of lifetime did I fall into here, right? And so beautiful water diviners and, feeling like your soul really had a mission with the Chariot that was like really, really important and feeling like super connected to spirit. But I also feel some of you did a lot of stuff for the temple ritualistically too, like cleansing and bathing people with the temple waters and bathing yourself in the temple waters and the temple baths and things like that. I mean, god dang, like what can compare to that? And, to like the freedom and the, peacefulness and like, walking around. And sometimes, sometimes when it's really cold where we live, we can't really like walk around naked or do anything like that. But could you imagine being like on the Mediterranean Sea with beautiful warm temperatures, walking around naked with like pictures of water and like swimming in these like gorgeous baths and all this kind of stuff? That's where your guys' soul longs to be. I feel pile number 2, you long to be, and that sense of feeling with the Chariot, feeling really energized. Like I have a mission. I have a goal. I've got a mission. My soul has a purpose. And that sense of being able to cleanse yourself with the Star card like multiple times, spiritually cleanse yourself. And sometimes with the 5 of Pentacles, like life can have us feeling dusty, grungy, and blah, right? And I feel like you were with the Queen of Cups, you always dress stunning, beautiful, warm enough to walk around naked and like bathing in the gorgeous waters and all this type of stuff, like whoa, and the sense of being able to come and go as you please. I feel like with the Chariot card and having that freedom to come and go as you please. and no one's really like keeping tabs on you, and you kind of like work when you want to work or when you feel intuitively connected to work. What a nice lifestyle, you know, what a lovely lifestyle. Yeah, here's the 7 of Pentacles. But I also feel like you guys are like, yeah, my soul does miss all of that, Natalie. But you know what? I'm sure glad that we have modern medicine these days, because there's only so much you can do with ritualistic baths and, you know, cleansing wounds with like water. I'd rather have, you know, like actual materials to, you know, so I get it. I get it. Like, I feel like you're saying, well, there were drawbacks too, you know? Yeah, like, but at the same time, I'm happy to be like a modern person in the modern world, because, you know, the 7 of Pentacles can be like, yeah, there was so many like positive things about it, but at the same time, like, I I feel like there was a lot of places your soul wanted to go then. And, you know, travel wasn't, I do feel like you did like to travel around a lot with the Chariot, but there's one place that you always return to. And, you know, the thing of the matter is that you're an ambitious soul. And I feel like your 7 of Pentacles, like you're never satisfied with just with things being that easy or that nice. And so, you know, and plus, you know, like there is modern medicine and things like that, which I'm sure you're grateful for these days. But I mean, still, what a gorgeous natural. You're like, oh, I wish I could feel that free and that relaxed, you know? I feel like there was a very relaxing energy, and it feels like life has been, it's like feeling like you have to work so hard to get back to that, but it's also an appreciation for what that was. So pile number 2, that is what I am getting for you, my loves. I hope that that reading resonated. And you know what? I want to read a little bit about the Oracle at Delphi, because I didn't get to read that card. So let me read that a little bit before I move on to pile 3. Okay, it says today we're going back to around 1000 BCE to Greece to see the famed Oracle of Delphi. There are lots of people here today. To visit the temple, you first walk in ceremony along the sacred pathway carrying laurel leaves. I'm glad you're with me. There's stillness in the air. We are now waiting for the priest and priestesses to relay our questions to the oracle and bring her messages to us. Although the history talks of one oracle at a time, there are many oracles of Delphi. Those waiting in line with us tell us that the oracles were selected from a guild of young women of the temple. Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting goosebumps. The priestesses entered the chasm and inhale the vapors rising through the cracks in the rock. The fumes expand their ability to hear the voices of gods and communicate words to the supplicants. We can feel the presence of spirit here. True, authentic communication can be healing and empowering. Be willing to speak up for yourself and from your heart. You can heal yourself and others through communication. Take a risk and have courage to speak in a forthright manner. Share the unspoken darkness that may lie heavy in your heart, even if you're hesitant or afraid of being rejected or misunderstood. Okay, this can ignite almost miraculous transformation and healing. However, be discerning with whom you share your truth. There are some people, no matter what, who won't be able to hear your feelings and thoughts. For those people, embark on a guided meditation and see their higher self before you and speak from your own higher self to theirs. This can be profoundly healing. This card can also indicate that it is time to teach or expand your capacity as a teacher. Teach what you know, teach from who you are. It can also suggest that it is time to open your heart and commune with the divine. Speak to the Creator and allow yourself to listen to the messages from beyond. Oh, I love it. Pile number 2, gorgeous energy. Thank you so much, pile number 2, for sharing your story with me. I wish you all the best. Pile number 2, take care. Let's move on to pile number 3. Let's see. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose A New Start is Coming, and today's reading is called Where Does Your Soul Long to Be? And we are featuring today the Time Traveler's Oracle, and we are going to find a place that your soul longs to be, pile number 3, and we're going to find out why that is. Thank you so much for being here today, pile number 3. And let us begin, my friends. I love this deck, but it is a little awkward to shuffle. So let's see. Let's see. And we'll do tarot cards at the end, okay? But let's start off with your oracle cards. So your soul longs to be, wow, the Amazon rainforest, Brazil. Oh my God. And look at that panther in the background, and it says growth. Oh my God, that is amazing. The Amazon rainforest in Brazil. Where are my Amazonians? They are in this pile. My warrior women, my warrior men and women, welcome to your reading, okay? We have Venus and offer, okay? We've got closed off, guarded, and resistant, okay? We've got separation and longing, okay? We have the visionary. I chart the stars, signs, and symbols to craft magic. Okay, interesting. And that's a pretty sexy person right there. So we have buffalo and abundance. Ooh, abundance and liberation are finally on the way. When it comes to how to remind you of the amazing manifesting powers of gratitude, you will always have plenty when you express gratitude to every part of creation. Abundant and visionary, okay? And we have here, imagine how good it'll feel when you're done. Keep going, okay? Growth, abundance, okay? Imagine how good it will feel when you are done. We have Chiron energy here, healing, okay? We have transformation, okay? Healing is the key, transformation. We have spirals of manifestation. So now we have manifestation on 2 cards here. We have it on this buffalo card and also here as well. And you guys are not the type to give up, I feel, pile number 3. You are very hardcore warriors. We have Aquarius energy, and I know you do not give up when you are in the middle of the process of manifestation and change, okay? There is hope for healing, I feel, pile number 3, okay? And I'm going to read a little bit about this Amazon rainforest because your soul is craving like the waterfalls, the wild animals, the greenery, the like beauty, but also the danger of the Amazon rainforest. So let's go ahead, and I want to read a little bit about this card, okay? We jump to the Amazon rainforest 1 million years into the past. The air is warm and humid. Ooh, sounds kind of sexy. Pile number 3. The air is warm and humid, heady with the verdant scents of plants and animals around us. As we push our way through large, moist leaves, we hear a cacophony of bird and animals echoing through the forest. We bask in the vigorous life force energy. Ooh, you can just hear it, right? You can hear the sounds of the rainforest around you, alive. The Amazon rainforest has unparalleled biodiversity with the largest collection of living plants and animals in the world. Scientists will eventually catalog over 2 million insect species, 40,000 plants, 2,000 fish, and over 1,200 birds, and 800 species of amphibians and reptiles. The robustness of growth here is incredible. Oh my God, it's lush, it's hot, it's humid, it's heavy, it's, the scent, it's all there, like the growth, the energy, the passion, okay? The moisture of the Amazon rainforest. And it seems like it's a sexy, hot, good time, okay? Some of you could be in a situation where you're feeling very closed off from another person right now, or you're feeling very separated from the things that you want, particularly romantically, okay? And what you want and what you will accept and what you will take into yourself, I feel pile number 3 is changing, okay? And, here's what I also like to say. Growth is being able to fall in love. Growth is being able to show your feelings. Growth is being able to open your heart to somebody. Now, sometimes that person is closed off and guarded and unwilling to participate in the dynamic, and it makes us feel the pain of separation and longing for that person. But it's not a bad thing, even if it's not the right relationship, okay? Pile number 3, it's not a bad thing to open yourself up to growth and love someone again. And some of you here could have gone through a very painful situation with someone where they closed you out, they cut you off, and they they shut down and left you, abandoned you, or just shut down and refused to explain why or talk to you about it or anything, okay? And I just want to, for those of you that have gone through that with this Chiron energy, that is very painful, but you are growing through it, okay? And you are changing as a person because of the way that you have loved. And, I'm a firm believer that loving is not a sin. Loving is never going to be a sin. Now, we can't always control the other person and what they do with our love, right? And it is up to for ourselves with the Aquarius energy here to have some level of you know, mental detachment from certain people in our life if it's not going to kind of go where we want it to go, right? And it's up to us to have enough distance and to understand, right? Even if emotionally the growth has been painful. Some of you have been through a lot of, really painful growth. But I feel like, especially when it comes to love and relationships, okay, but I also feel like that painful growth that you have been through is part of what has changed you on a soul level and has taught you so much about life, okay? And taught you about, the beauty of love, okay? We can't always control the outcome of love. We can't always control what's on the other side of it or how it turns out. But even in our darkest, I always say it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all, okay? And I feel like on a mental level, you guys know that. And I feel like you guys are very resilient with this buffalo energy, okay? Stubborn even, and resilient. But there is something, the way you think about these painful situations and the way that they've caused you to grow and learn, I feel like is changing, okay? And the way you see things is changing. And so let's see what else we have here. In order for the seed to sprout, it needs to cast off its tougher outer layer. Yeah, and that's the Chiron energy of the tougher outer layer, okay? And I also feel some of you are very instinctual, and the Amazon has this very primitive instinctual energy to it. And I feel like, in modern times, we're all very, we're more connected than ever, but we're also not connected, like we're not connected to nature. We're not connected to the wildlife and the plants. We're not connected to the beating heart of the forest, we're not connected to the warriors yelping out in the darkness. Like we're not connected to that primal, primitive hunter kind of experience. We're very mental creatures with this Aquarius energy. We're very in our heads, and there's a part of your soul that recognizes and knows and is a warrior, okay? And, with Venus here, you're a warrior for love, okay? And even for those of you who had past lives as warriors in primitive cultures, you were a warrior for love then, and you're a warrior for love now. You're very resilient and you're very stubborn. And once you get your mind set on something, it's like my mind has the power to change things. Aquarius, spirals of manifestation, transformation. Okay. And some of you actually could have had these mental powers in a past life. Maybe you had some extraordinary mental resistance and mental persistence and mental powers. Okay. And, it's like, I miss the days when I could bend time with my mind. I miss the days when I could talk anyone into anything. I miss the days when, maybe you didn't know as many people because you grew up in a primitive society. So you were kind of with those people for your whole life. But it's like, I miss that sense of community. I miss that sense of, yeah, there's the internet. Yeah, there's all this stuff, but we don't connect in that way anymore. And it is about, with Venus, it is about finding ways to grow through community and connection and being in touch with our environment and the nature around us, okay? And for you guys, part of, love and abundance and connection and even finding physical resilience for your health has to do with being out in nature. Maybe some of you like tinctures or natural remedies or herbs or different things like that. But it's very important. And I also feel when you guys give a gift, it's very important that the other person accepts it, okay? Because, people who are not willing to accept a gift, it's very ugly energy in a lot of ways. And I feel like you guys have love to give, but there's been people who have rejected that with this Chiron. And it's through mutual wounding that oftentimes people do grow to understand what love is and, how their mental energy is affecting their relationships. Okay, so this is very interesting energy here. In order for a seed to sprout, it needs to cast off its tougher outer layer. Once it does that, it can begin its rapid growth, and the thing is the tougher outer layer of being a warrior and being an Amazonian and being a fighter and a warrior woman or a warrior man, like, it's hard to give up that experience for softer energy, for Venus energy, because we can feel wounded. So these are interesting times, pile number 3. Once a person does that, it can begin its rapid growth. When you receive this card, it can indicate the need to cast off old beliefs and release outdated limiting notions about who you are. When you do this, your energy expands. To step into your next cycle, you're being called upon to release dross from your past so that your energy can surge in ever-widening circles, connections, okay? Aquarius energy, connections, community, okay? Friendships. So be conscientious about what you focus on. Yeah, because I talked about your guys' mind power and your way to bend time with your mind and do all these mental tricks that I feel some of you could have done really well in the past, okay? Be conscientious about what you focus on, for whatever you place your attention on is what will expand in your life. Growth in your life can be mental, physical, or emotional. Expansion in all areas is occurring. If you've been thinking about developing your business or expanding an enterprise, this is a good time to do that. If you've been considering embarking on a retreat or program of self-growth, starting therapy, or gaining supplemental education, this card is telling you to move forward. I love that. You know, and sometimes some areas of our lives are feeling rather blocked for whatever reason. And so we need to go back to the drawing board and we need to kind of shift gears and see where we can grow, you know, and where the energy is actually moving in a positive direction, you know. And maybe like your relationship life feels very like backed up right now, but there's other ways that you can be growing at this time, okay? So let's go ahead, you know, education, business, learning, therapy, healing, okay, physical therapy, physical healing, conscious community connections. These are all things that are going to be bringing abundance for you. Now let me go ahead and see. Let's get some tarot. Where does your soul long to be and why? Let's see. Let's find out about the Amazon rainforest. Where does your, oh, there we go. Where does your soul long to be and why? Where does your soul long to be and why? We'll get the tarot out here. Seven of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, feeling like I've had all this growth, right? And I feel in the past, like past lives, I feel some of you had a lot of growth, okay? Especially physically and as warriors and as hunters and as, you know, primitive energy, like lots of growth, okay? And maybe some of you here have an insane green thumb, or like you are really good at growing things in this lifetime, but you've been feeling kind of stuck with it. I also feel somebody here could have been a warrior that was injured in a past life as well, and it forced you to develop your mental capacity and do warrior-like things with your mind. So that is interesting. Pile number 3. We have here the 9 of Swords needing to the mental energy. Okay, we have the Fool. All right, yeah, and you know, the Fool is very instinctual. It's very like random. The Fool is very, you know, and the Fool can also be prone to accidents. And it's like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I was some warrior in a past life. And I was constantly climbing on high cliffs. And you're like, I'm afraid of heights in this lifetime. Shit, you know, like it's so funny because when you came into this lifetime, it's like you lose all, it's like we lose all of our training and all the things we were good at. And then there's just this feeling of anxiety of, I got injured climbing a mountain or whatever. Now I'm afraid of heights, but it's like you didn't even know that you were like so good at that and you were totally fearless, okay? I feel like you missed that experience of that primitive energy of feeling totally fearless and excited. And you know, that is an energy of youth. And if you think about it, if you're older, you can remember when you were in your 20s and how you were like not afraid of anything and you were totally fearless about life. I know I was pretty energetic and fearless when I was younger, but as you get older, you start to go, oh my God, well, I want to try these new things, but this bad thing could happen, that bad thing could happen, da 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 da. And you see people as they get older, they get more afraid of trying new things, okay? But I feel like some of you, like when you think of the Amazon, it is so primitive and it is about, it reminds me of, like when I think of the Amazon, I think of the movie Avatar and how they lived in those societies and how they were just like running and jumping and climbing on everything. And they were so sure with their footing, even though they were up really, really high. And as human beings, we overthink and we've lost our connection with the instinctual side of life and like just trusting our feet, you know, wherever they go. So yeah, we have the Sun here. Definitely like being out in nature, being like, you know, and some of you like with the heat, and some of you may, you know, I mean, brutally punishing heat is one thing, but some people actually need heat, particularly if they struggle with arthritis, if they struggle with, you know, like sinus pressure, arthritis, you know, like a dry heat can be really good for some people, you know, or some people get really, it's like they need heat physically to feel better, okay? And maybe some of you, it's like without sunshine, you just don't feel motivated, okay? And, you know, part of it for you guys is getting your energy back, okay? And feeling like excited and happy about life again, instead of feeling constantly worried and overwhelmed. And it's like, I want to feel excited and happy and healthy and vital and energetic and youthful and funny and silly. I want to feel all that. I don't want to feel overwhelmed and sad all the time, okay? And I feel like what you're saying too to this person who's been closed off from you, it's like, why can't you see how much fun we have together? Why can't you see how happy we are together, how goofy we are together, how funny we are together, you know? And it's like, why can't you see that? And, you know, there's something with the Sun and the Fool about needing to kind of lighten the mood. And maybe there is something with your overthinking or things like that. And you're like, you know what? I do need to lighten the mood. It says here, I imagine how good you'll feel when you're done. Keep going, okay? And this Nine of Swords is like, oh, I can't do it. I can't keep going. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so mentally overwhelmed, and I've got a million thoughts running through my head, and it feels so punishing, you know? But I really do feel like you guys are going to feel, oh yeah, we have the Page of Pentacles here. And, you know, imagine how good you'll feel when you're done. You'll be so proud of yourself with the Sun card. For those of you that do want to go and do something new that you've never done before, because you feel like, I'm really going to grow from this experience and I really need to take on this challenge, abso-freaking-lutely, pile number 3. And I know it's scary and I know it's hard, okay? I know it's nerve-wracking, but you're going to be so proud of yourself. And just think, I think you guys have definitely faced worse in the jungles in a past life, okay? I think you've definitely like dealt with fearful situations in the past and faced them very, very bravely. So draw on that energy if you're feeling like anxious. I feel like in the past you have faced situations very, very bravely and courageously. And I feel by taking on this new thing you're thinking about here, that it's very good for you because it makes you feel very proud of yourself and very happy that you've invested in your own learning, travel, adventure, healing. Like, you'll be very proud of yourself for doing that, okay? You'll feel very accomplished and proud in yourself for finishing, okay? And maybe it's really hard. Maybe some of you are working on a class, or you're thinking of taking a class, or you're thinking of doing something, and it just feels, all the details feel very overwhelming. Hey, it's Mercury retrograde. It ends in about a week. You know, after that, maybe you can start working on some more of the details of things, but you're going to feel so proud of yourself for, you know, you'll be like, what else can I do? What else can I take on? Okay. You'll be very, very proud of yourself for not giving up. All right, pile number 3. So that is what I am getting for you, my friends. I hope that reading resonated, and I would love to hear your thoughts or your feedback. Take care.